our second unit under IFM called as Banking Institutions. Let's look at the introduction. A bank is an institution which deals with money. It caters to the needs of agriculture, industries, traders, and to all the other sections of the society. Thus, banks accelerate the economic growth of the country and steer the wheels of economy towards its goal of self-reliance in all the fields. Now, as we all know, that bank is an institution or bank is an organization which deals with money. There's a money inflow in terms of deposit. There's a money outflow in the terms of loans and advances or credit. It's not just serving individuals, it serves to various sectors in the society. To agriculturists, that means farmers, industries, small scale, medium scale, traders or businessmen, to all these sections of the society, the bank caters its services. Therefore, we can say that banks are one of the accelerating part of the economic growth of our country, right? It is moving our economy or making sure the economy is developed with the help of financial institutions such as banks or commercial banks. Let's look how did the bank's origin or how did it start in our India. So it was during the British rule that the East India Company had established three banks, namely it was called as the Bank of Bengal, Bank of Bombay and Bank of Madras, and called them the presidential banks. So we know that the entire banking system or the concept of banking was introduced by the Britishers when they were ruling over us in India. Correct? It was back then they introduced it. So then they merged all these three banks into one. So in 1921 they renamed it as Imperial Bank of India. Three banks merging into one bank. And then in the year 1955, so you can see that if you can look at the date of 1921, so the entire banking system or the concept of banking started way before our independence. Okay, even before India achieved or got its independence, the banking system was in place. And then later, post independence, we can see that it was renamed again or nationalized into the name called as the State Bank of India. So today we know that it is one of the largest public sector bank in India. Now SBI has the most amount of deposits or bank balance or the highest deposits in India compared to all the other banks that has been established from or post independence. SBI stands as the number one. So let's understand what was the need for banks. Why do we need banks in our country? Number one is to provide security to the savings of customer. Now we all know that the savings that we have in each household, just by keeping it in our wardrobes or in our purse, is not going to make money grow. So each individual or each household would want a secure place to invest their money into or save their money in. So banks provided that platform to provide security to the savings of customers. So this entire banks and the nationalization of banks was completely taken over by the government of India. Now we all have the privatization or post 1991, but before that we only had banks which are completely owned by the or run by the government of India. So therefore people or households in India would have a security that yes, my money is safe with the bank, and also bank is also going to offer us interest on the amount of savings that I have in my account. The second need is to control the supply of money and credit. So somewhere government needed a platform or a mode of investment through how do I channelize the inflow and outflow of money. Yes, people have saving, so they're going to come to the banks and invest. So government can in turn use the savings in the for the development of the economy. It can be infrastructural, it can be technological, etc. So basically the government of India wanted to control the supply of money and credit, that is savings as well as giving out as loan. Both the aspects they wanted to control. So the medium of controlling was banks. Third point, to avoid focus on financial powers in the hands of a few individuals and institutions. So before even banks existed, how did this money or flow of money was carrying forward was through individuals or was through brokers. They would charge a very high interest rate, and there would be it would be not organized way of dealing with money, etc. So the power was only in few individuals or few institutions. So the need for the banks arise in order to have one control or complete control in the hands of government, and every inflow and outflow of money was under the eyes of government. So they had to regulate it, and so that they could organize the money flow in the society. So they wanted to avoid private individuals or single peoples or individuals having control over the money flow in the economy. Instead, there was a platform created as a bank or as a commercial bank where they could exchange the money in terms of savings and loans. Point 4, to set equal norms and conditions. As I told, there has to be proper conditions, proper regulations that is laid down by the government. It can be in terms of what is the rate of interest you are charging if there's anybody who's taking loan from your bank. What is the period of lending? Is it short term? Is it medium term? Is it long term? Okay. So what are the legal procedures you have to follow up in order to open an account or to close an account or to open a or to borrow loan from the bank? What are the legal procedures? What is the mortgage that you need to place it with the bank in order to avail for a loan? So all these terms, conditions, the legal provisions and the procedures were to be uniform, and it had to be laid on by one single body. So banks came in place to set those equal norms and conditions. Point 5, to encourage public confidence in the working of financial system, increases savings speedily and efficiently. So banks gave a platform for the people and the households in India a public confidence. So it can encourage them, okay, if there's a bank in place and our money is safe, then it would start encouraging more and more households or more and more individuals to come forward and open a bank account. It has increased to so much that today we also have a zero balance account. If you can remember, correct? Back then, if you had a bank account, it was compulsory that the bank's rules were you need to maintain a minimum balance of maybe 500 to 1000 rupees or even 100 rupees. Depending from bank to bank, the rules will change. But today we also have the availability of what? Opening a bank account, irrespective you have a balance or you have a balance or you have zero balance. Is that clear? So this created awareness and also confidence from the society and the public in the banking system of India. So this was the 5 different needs why we need banks in our economy. Let's look at the definition of the bank. So according to the Banking Companies Act of 1949, Section B 5B defines banking as accepting for the purpose of lending or investment of deposits from the public, repayable on demand or otherwise, and withdrawal by checks, drafts or otherwise. So what is the major or main aim of a bank? It is to, we just looked at financial institutions, right, last class. There we saw, right, banks' major purpose of existence is to what? Accept deposits and lending of loans. So they're going to use the deposits balance in order to lend loans and have a profit margin for themselves. Is that clear? So this is the definition of bank according to the Banking Companies Act. Now, who is a banker? A person who conducts the business of banking is called as a banker. So employees or people or the manager of a bank who conducts or accepts deposits from the public or to lend loans to the traders or businessmen. These people are called as banker or bankers. Let's clearly understand what is the role of commercial banks in our economy. Number 1, It encourages savings habit amongst people, thereby makes funds available for productive usage. So as I earlier mentioned, that banks are the first institution who encouraged people to save their money in the banks, because if it is elsewhere that you can save, it is not secure, it is dangerous. You might lose all your money and you wouldn't earn any type of interest if you're giving to individuals. But then if you're putting your money into a safe, secure uh, option, that is bank or commercial bank, it is going to encourage many more people to start opening accounts and thereby makes fund available for productive usage. So where are all these savings going? Where are all these deposits going? Towards the development of the economy. Now the loans are given from which funds? From the deposits people make. So from the deposits people make, commercial bank, from that balance they give out loan to traders, businessmen, or anybody who turns out for a credit. Now for what purpose that the traders or businessmen use? Maybe to conduct a business, maybe to manufacture a product, or maybe to render a service. So thereby it creates employability, it creates products or services to the society, and thereby the company pay taxes back to the government. That way deposits or banks help in growth or development of the economy. Point 2. It acts as intermediary between people having surplus money and those requiring money for various business activities. So bank is a perfect platform for people to save their money and also for people who want to borrow money. It is a one shot or it is a one stop for both. For those who want to save their money and for those who want to borrow money from the bank for whatever business activities. You are into trading, you are into service industry, you are into tourism industry, you are an entrepreneur, you want a personal loan, education, whatever your purpose of loan is, you can always approach a one-stop platform called as commercial bank. So bank acts as a intermediary. For me, I have savings and I want to make my money grow by opening a recurring deposit account or by a fixed deposit account. So I approach a bank. On the other side, if I am a businesswoman or if I want to open a shop or I need a capital, then I will go back to the same bank and require capital or apply for a loan. So for both of us, for a businessman and for a common individual, the intermediary here is commercial bank. Number 3, it increases businesses' transaction through receipts and payments by checks instead of currency. Thankfully, we need to thank the technology today. At a finger click, you can even transfer so many amounts, right? Using your Paytm or PhonePe or Google Pay. But much before this payments bank has arrived, okay, in the society, we had what? The usage of check. The common way how business people, traders, or individuals used to deal with each other is by currency. Is that clear? By notes or by currency. Then only when banks were introduced or banks were developed or established, people started issuing checkbooks. Got it? Now just when you open the account, you would have definitely received a checkbook along with the all the other instructions to you, correct? So in that checkbook, so usually business people use it to issue checks to pay somebody any kind of money they owe to the other supplier or the goods supplier or the raw material supplier, etc. Correct? So banks were avoiding the usage of currency. Instead, it was a safer mode called as check. So currency, anybody can steal it. But check, if you're going to cross the check across the left top bottom, right? Left top, if you're going to cross two lines on the border, then it will directly go and credit into the respective supplier's account. Okay, there's no chances or there is very less chances of you losing the money in the bank. Is that clear? So apart from dealing with currency, the next level was dealing with checks. That was more safe and secure for companies or traders. Now if you're going to have, yes, we have payment banks, we have direct NEFT, we have RTGS, etc. That is the next version of dealing with your transaction. The basic was currency and then it moved on to checks. Point 4. It provides loans and advances to businesses for short-term and long-term purposes. As I told, banks are the institutions which caters to the needs of all kinds of sectors of society. Either it can be a farmer, it can be an industrialist, it can be an individual, or it can be a student like you, correct? So, bank caters loans and advances to businesses or to individuals, both short-term as well as long-term purpose. You remember the concept of bill of exchange or discounting of bills, etc. Where does the trader go to discount his bill? To the bank. So basically, discounting of bills comes under the heading of working capital or short-term capital. That is what here we are talking about, short-term purpose. Okay, so that will give us a source for working capital fund. Otherwise, long-term, we're going to take a loan for maybe 5 years timeline or 10 to 15 years timeline and borrow the money from the bank. Point 5. It also facilitates import-export transactions. So, commercial banks does not only deal with the national boundary level, only up to the Indian borders currency. No, it is also established and developed in such a manner, it can also handle what? Import-export transactions. If you're dealing with Japan, right? If you have to pay currency in yen, right? It also, commercial banks helps you to deal with that. If you're paying in dollars, or if you have to receive in dollars, right? So different currencies also comes across only when you're doing international trade. That is when you are exporting goods as a manufacturer to other country and they have to pay you, but their country currency is dollars and your country currency is rupees. So banks helps us to make sure these transactions are more simpler and easier through the platform of banking system. On the other side, if you are importing, okay, from Japan some goods or some electronic gadgets and you have to pay them in their respective currency, so again banks come into the picture. So how are you going to pay them? Through the bank or through your bank account. The last point, it leads to balanced economic development in the country by providing credit to various sectors in the society. Now here, as we know that banks are giving us a balanced economic development. It's not that banks only are supporting business people, only are supporting traders, giving out loans to only traders or business people or industrialists. No, banks are open to serve all kinds of customers, all kinds of types of customers. It can be businessmen. Yes, it started with businessmen and then it moved on to different kind of loans. It can be a personal loan, it can be a car loan, and now it's most available to students also. Students do not have any kind of source of income, but still banks are open up to even provide educational loans. So that shows that commercial banks or the entire banking institution leads us to a balanced economic development. It caters to the needs of several sectors of the society, which in turn will develop our economy. Hope you've understood today's classes or today's concepts. We started with banking institution introduction. We got to know how banks originated in India. We understood what was the need for banks in India. We discussed 5 different points. We understood what is the definition of bank according to the Banking Companies Act. Who is a banker? What are the role of commercial banks? We discussed 6 points under this.